Hello, everybody. I hope you're very well wherever you are. It's a really nice sunny day here. I hope that even if it's really rainy and cold wherever you are, that you're feeling sunny inside. That's what really matters. Now, I'm going to read you another chapter from Molly Moon's incredible book of Hypnotism. We've got to chapter 35. My name's Georgia. Her what wrote the book, and for you to look at today is this. It's a very simple thing, but I really love it. It's a clay apple. I expect lots of you will be able to make one of these quite easily. It's a clay apple that's just been painted. It's not a fancy thing. I picked it up in a shop. There were lots of them in a basket. Somebody made it in Sicily, and I think it cost me about £2.50, which is probably about $4, $3. Anyway, it's a very nice thing, and it goes with this chapter a little bit because Molly and Rocky are on the aeroplane and they've got aeroplane food. Chapter 35. When it was time for supper on the plane, Notman found himself only wanting to eat fruit. Then he went to sleep. Rocky and Molly, on the other hand, stayed wide awake, making the most of the first-class menu. "I wonder what the rest of the plane are having," said Molly brightly, biting into a ketchup sandwich. "Meat in congealed fat, followed by lumpy trifles with fruit that tastes of cardboard," suggested Rocky, biting into a crispy pancake that oozed lemony syrup. "That's what the Alabasters and me had on the way out." "The Alabasters and I, you mean," said Molly. "You weren't with them. What do you mean?" "Oh, forget it," said Molly. "Just trying to improve your English." "You know what?" Rocky added, looking up from his in-flight magazine. "It says here that you can get a neck massage in first class." "Who by?" "I dunno. The captain?" This made both of them giggle, and Rocky got quite a lot of his syrupy pancake on the magazine. "First class is great luxury," Molly added, taking a slurp of concentrated orange squash. "But you know what, Rock? It's going to be difficult coming back down to earth when we land." "Why? Hasn't the plane got wheels?" They started laughing again. "Pathetic joke," said Molly, her eyes watering as she recovered. "No, what I mean is," she glanced at Rocky, "and don't make me laugh, Rocky, because I'm about to say something serious." "Are you?" Rocky pulled a very serious face. "What I mean is, it'll be difficult to not use our hypnotism anymore when we're back. I mean, think of all those useful times you've used it over the last few weeks. It's so useful. I know we agreed we should make our ways honestly from now on, but what if, let's say, you saw an old man crying on the street because his wife had died and because she was lonely? Wouldn't you want to hypnotise him to not feel quite so sad? And hypnotise him to join old people's party clubs or something? Or let's say you saw a kid crying because she'd got a bad school report and on the same day her gerbil had been eaten by the cat and her friend had gone to hospital with a terrible disease and—" "Molly," interrupted Rocky, "stop it. We agreed." "Yeah, but I just think it's going to be difficult to resist the temptation." "True, it will be, but we have to resist. Because if we start using it for good deeds, soon we'll be using it for useful deeds, and before we know it, we'll be using it again every time we don't get our own way, and then we'll be living unreal lives again." Molly looked disappointed. She knew Rocky was right. They'd talked this all through already. But, Molly tried, if we don't hypnotise anyone, maybe we'll forget how to do it. Nope, said Rocky, raising an eyebrow. It's like sucking your thumb. Once you've learnt how, you never forget. Okay, you're right, said Molly glumly, turning her head to look out of the window. Outside, the night sky was full of stars, and beneath, 35,000 feet beneath, the Atlantic Ocean's tides moved with the moon. Molly stared out, finding it difficult to believe that she would never hypnotise anyone again. It struck her that it would be hours before they landed, however. It wouldn't be breaking the rule if she used her powers on the plane. Rocky was watching a music video. Molly got up and stretched, then went for a little walk. Molly had quite a few conversations over the next 2 hours. She met a man by the toilets who was shaking because he hated flying. Molly persuaded him that from now on he would love it. She talked to an exhausted mother who was holding up a child who wouldn't sleep. After 10 minutes, they were back in their seats, both completely conked out. She spoke to a weepy air hostess who'd just broken up with her husband, and Molly mended her broken heart. Then she helped 3 kids who hated school. She turned a grumpy old codger into a mild old man, and she fixed a small boy so that he would love eating green vegetables, especially spinach. Molly sat down in her seat, feeling very satisfied and a little bit like a fairy godmother. The plane touched down at 6 in the morning. This was like 1 o'clock in New York time, so Rocky and Molly felt very disorientated, but they slept a little on the plane, and so they were excited to be back. They were excited to be back anyway. Remember what we agreed, said Rocky, coming down the aeroplane steps. Here goes, said Molly, stepping onto the airport tarmac. Once in the terminal, Knockman collected their mass of luggage and shopping from the baggage carousel. Then Molly and Rocky decided it would be cool to travel back to Hardwick House in style, and so they chartered a helicopter. The journey in the helicopter took 20 minutes. As its blades whirred above, Molly looked out, seeing the coastline in the distance, and then from afar the town of Briarsville. As the pilot flew closer, she pointed out the hill where Hardwick House was. Approaching the dilapidated, unkempt building, Molly was reminded of how she used to shut her eyes and picture flying away from Hardwick House into space. Very soon they were hovering directly above the grounds of the building, and the pilot began to bring the helicopter down. He landed just outside the orphanage on a small area of flat ground, the wind from his propellers whipping up the bushes and thistles and grass. He turned the engine off. Here you are. Molly looked out expectantly to see who would emerge from the building first. But no one came out. I suppose no one's up yet, said Rocky. I mean, it is early. At least it shows Hazel's not strict about getting up. The place looks as crumbly as ever, said Molly, letting Petula out for a pee. Whilst Petula sniffed enthusiastically about the frosty drive, Knockman unloaded the helicopter. Once that was done, the pilot wished them all good luck, and with everybody standing back, started up again. With a thumbs-up signal, he was off. In a minute, the machine was only a blot in the sky. Molly and Rocky turned to look at Hardwick House. A small face dodged from one of the windows. Someone's up. Something's up, said Molly. It's all a bit too quiet round here. She rang on the front doorbell, but then she noticed that the splintered door was already open. And there you go. That is the end of chapter 35. So remember, if you've liked this, maybe you could subscribe to this channel. That's right, the button's over there somewhere. Over there. And if you subscribe to this channel, I'm thinking about doing some sort of writing videos all about things that you do when you write, tips for writing, things that I did when I was a kid, when I wrote, and other stuff too. I'm thinking of doing some other online videos that are in the world of books and writing that hopefully will be amusing and inspiring and that you might enjoy. So if you want to do that, subscribe and then you'll know when they come up. And tell your friends about it too, because the summer holidays are coming soon and they may want to do that too. You can tell your teachers if you like, because they may like to know that there's this sort of thing going on. And apart from that, have a really lovely the rest of your day, and I will see you again for chapter 36. Let's see what's happened at Hardwick House. Bye.